Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. So Ben Childs of The Guardian wrote an article titled this: Will Matt Reeves' The Batman save DC's cinematic universe? Or will it usher the superhero studio's demise? With so many past, often flawed, takes on The Dark Knight, no wonder fans are nervous about meeting his next incarnation. I'm not nervous, I'm excited. And who told you, mate, Ben, that the DCEU needs saving, or DC Cinematic Universe needs saving? Who told you that? These people know absolutely nothing about film or comics or anything. It's so funny. So let's carry on, right? A lot is riding on Matt Reeves' The Batman, which is due to begin shooting in November, with or without Ben Affleck as the tortured Dark Knight. Warner Brothers listen to this. This is a joke. Warner Brothers' struggling DC Extended Universe or superhero movies currently lacks a central pivot. Oh, shut up. Despite decent enough solo outings for Wonder Woman and Aquaman, the studio would love to see Reeves somehow come up with a movie that repositions the Caped Crusader at the heart of the DC world. And yet, it is difficult to see how the main creative thrust behind the successful Planet of the Apes remake trilogy can carve out his own vision without taking Batman out of the Justice League and potentially the DCEU itself. That's nonsense. Altogether, Bruce Wayne surely needs to be given the chance to breathe. The foul Gotham City air, once again, free of responsibility for fending off attacks from bad CGI alien old piss-off interlopers or resurrecting Superman due to his own foolhardy behaviour. Oh, it was foolhardy, was it, Ben? Well, it was foolhardy, was it, to sacrifice himself for humanity, you tosser? Right. Where am I? Yeah, here we are. Everything we've heard about Reeves' plan suggests he will take a back-to-basics approach, restoring the furrow-browed superhero to his roots as a sleuth, some Gotham City vigilante. Listen, before I read on, there's a bit of a debate with this. What he's saying, the Batman can't work unless Batman isn't involved in the Justice League at this point. Now, this is interesting because in Birds of Prey, Batman's disappeared. And it was interesting in this season's Arrowverse crossover when the team was speaking to Batwoman, he had vanished there as well. But so this is interesting. If he has disappeared, and obviously we won't see the Batman until maybe late 2020, the end of 2020, or maybe even 2021. So it's going to be interesting if he still will be a member of the Justice League, or if they just don't deal with that and just give us a standalone movie, which I think may be more of the case. We read on. This has to be a good thing. For the last 3 years, ever since Zack Snyder ill-fated Batman v Superman. Oh, God, please stop it. Dawn of Justice failed to wow anyone outside of hardcore DC fans. Oh, you're such a wanker. Warner has been trying and failing to convince the world that Batfleck was a good idea. Poorly managed. It did this by tweaking the movie's sequel and spin-offs to ride them of the worst knuckle-headed excesses of Snyder's films. God, this bloke's annoying, isn't he? But the truth is that casting Affleck was a terrible idea. It was a terrible idea in your opinion. Look, I wouldn't have cast Ben Affleck either, but he gave us a great Batman. I'm sorry, he did. Well, terrible idea. Carried out terribly, and no amount of shoehorned comedy one-liners was going to save films such as Justice League from being roundly dismissed. Well, so far, I don't really agree with him at all. But again, these people really know nothing about cinema or superheroes. The temptation must surely be for Reeves to make with Lazarus Pit and resurrect a new and more workable Batman, preferably played by anyone but Affleck. Perhaps DC needs two cinematic universes, one based on the grimy Gotham underworld and its cavalcade of leering freaks and deviants, the other filled with sci-fi tinged superheroes who wouldn't look out of place in the Marvels. Oh, you see, You see. Basically, wouldn't look out of place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, mate, you know nothing. We're talking about DC. DC characters should never be anywhere near the Marvel Cinematic Universe, such as Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash. For the Batman of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy or the TV series Gotham has often seemed about as likely to meet Superman or the other members of the Justice League as Luke Skywalker is to encounter Genghis Khan. Oh, God, this bloke must think he's funny. It is quite possible to imagine that the worst big screen cake crusaders, George Clooney or Val Kilmer, meeting just about anyone in the DC-verse, even the buffoonish Shazam. Oh, God. That's because there is nothing stylistically singular about them at all, unless one is counting back nipples. This guy's just going to pretty much, he's not even a DC fan, I bet you he's a Marvel fan. He's just going to go over every single misstep from DC, isn't he? Where other superheroes seem to grow as part of the ensemble, Batman, certainly based on our experience with the last few DC movies, only seems to diminish perhaps Gotham's Dark Knight as simply too weird, too idiosyncratic. A superhero to ever play nice with others. The only question is why DC wasn't well aware of this, given that its own Lego Batman movie mined Bruce Wayne's extreme narcissism and intelligent misanthropy for comedy gold so successfully. I don't know why he's comparing Lego Batman to the DCEU, but anyway, might the Batman see an emergence of a Dark Knight whose presence in the wider DC world is left pretty much open to question? And would this be such a bad thing? It's possible Warner simply doesn't have the confidence in its own plans. Here we go. You know their plans, do you? Particularly after the lukewarm reaction to Justice League to manage the movie in any other way. Its entire approach to the DCEU seems to have been a case of one step forward, 6 tentative steps back. So we're about as likely to see a considered Marvel-style route to world building at this late stage as we are to seeing the Joker giving up his life of crime and embarking on a new career as a supermarket shelf stacker. Yeah, he thinks he's funny. I'm afraid he's not. Perhaps this is for the best. If Warner Brothers is not naturally turned to the slow burn producer-led cinematic universe frequency, the studio would be well advised to avoid ham-fistedly trying to keep on fitting square pegs in round holes. In that case, the only solution is to take the whole thing one movie at a time, which is what they're doing now. Maybe, just maybe, we need to take a long, hard look at Reeves' solo Batman outing before anyone can really imagine what shape the wider DC universe should be in. Do you know what, right? This is a broadsheet. But you know what? And I keep on saying this. The DCEU and DC characters get more interest from readers, even from readers who don't even like DC, who might prefer Marvel or Star Wars or whatever. It's interesting to people. DC characters are interesting. It's got Batman, it's got Superman, it's got Wonder Woman. You know, and Batman is a fascinating character and a fascinating concept. Now, I don't disagree with everything this guy says. I mean, I think he's got a point that the Batman will need to be a film in its own right. And it'll be look, this character will be part of the DCEU. This film will be part of the DCEU. Even Matt Reeves has actually said that, but it'll be a standalone movie. We probably won't refer to anything else from the DCEU. I've got so much confidence in Matt Reeves. He gave us a fantastic Planet of the Apes trilogy, a trilogy that will never be forgotten. And it may have not made the money of the Dark Knight trilogy, but I tell you what, it's just as good. So, yes, I agree with the aspect of not having him involved with the Justice League at this point, but he has vanished in Birds of Prey, which is very interesting to see how that plays out. It doesn't look like we're going to see him in Birds of Prey, but I tell you what, it does point to the fact that maybe Ben Affleck is not involved any longer. At this moment in time, he is a producer, but that's a contractual situation. So we will see. So I agree with the point of this having to be a singular movie. and, you know, no Justice League connections or anything like that. Just get this movie right. Get this version of Batman right. We'll have to wait and see what Matt Reeves does, but I am truly, truly excited about the future for Batman.